Welcome. For those who are joining us for the first time, my name's Justyn. Glad to get to know you. Here we are, we're taking journeys through time, space, experiences, wisdom, mistakes, things all in between. I think there's too many people that are creating content, but they don't have content that reflects life. Maybe through my experiences, we can share something together, and maybe we can grow together. So let's grow. Let's go. Let's do this. I'm wearing my Texas State alma mater t-shirt. Shout out to Texas State University. I thought that was kind of fitting for today because I think today's conversation is a lot about what did you learn in a place that you had no idea what you were doing. Don't worry. For everybody that's watching that's in college, you're in good company. When we were there, we had no idea. Some people change majors 2-3 times, 4 or 5, depending on whatever day of the week it may have been. Because here you are, called an adult, feeling young, feeling like you have every day to live everything, but learn everything all over again. It makes sense. And everyone seems to say college is your best years, don't waste them. But as long as you assume that your best years are when you're young, then they're absolutely correct. Your best years are whenever you decide you're going to do your best today. Your best years and your best time and your best life is whenever you said, I'm going to make it. And even though I don't understand what I'm making, that's the whole point of life. It's not always to have your goal. It's the fact that you're progressing towards something that you weren't yesterday. That could be goal enough. That you're doing something today, that you're putting something on your agenda, your calendar, your plate, learning something, doing something, experiencing something that wasn't on yesterday's plate. I like that phrase, and I gotta go with Fat Joe when he says yesterday's price is not today's price. That's true. But also yesterday's life does not have to be today's life. You have the right to experience life again. You have the right to wake up and breathe in new air and breathe in new expectancy, breathe in new hopes and dreams and experiences that can change your perspective. I believe perspective is always a major indicator on how effective your life can be. As long as you see yourself small, you will do small things. But if you start seeing yourself bigger than where you were, you don't have to see yourself larger than who you are, but bigger than what you've done. I can do better. I can push further. I can try something new. I can cook something, go somewhere, experience something, stretch for all good sake. Even if you can't bench 500 pounds, you can at least go out to the gym and stretch. Stretch in your bedroom. Do things that make you better. I think that's so important. I've learned that quickly in this past year. This past year, honestly, wasn't the greatest year I've ever technically had professionally. But I learned so much more in my life about who I am and what I have not allowed myself to grow into because of perspective. Sometimes trying to please a phantasm that doesn't exist, pleasing an image or an expectancy that didn't serve me in this season. And that's okay. You are allowed to let chapters close. So let's write a new chapter. If I remember, even at Texas State, I got there and I showed up on that beautiful campus and I said, what is about to happen? You know, some people say you get to college and it's a new you. You can be whoever you want to be. You sound like that person in Forrest Gump where she's like, it's a second chance, it's a brand new year. But at the same time, it's just because no one else knows you. But the worst part about it is if you don't know yourself, you don't know who you're about to become. Half the time, the biggest battle is not choosing what to become, but knowing where you're starting from. Being honest with yourself. Being honest to say, I don't know. And being okay with that. Being able to say, I am starting from square one. This is day one, day zero. This is the beginning of a journey. And being okay with that. Taking a breath to be excited about the beginning. There is something about learning that seasons always have a beginning and an end. And it is always exciting to recognize the beginning and the end of seasons. Now, you can't do that. It's hard to recognize when to transition out of them. Some of us are still living in repeat seasons that should have been closed a long time ago. I was one of those repeat offenders. Don't get me wrong. I have definitely made some decisions that should have been closed in earlier chapters. I'm learning my lesson. And I'm not going to say I learned it. I'm saying I'm learning it because every day is a learning experience. Not that I have to be like Peter Pan and, Peter, you grew up. Hold on, pause. I just had a moment because that, you promised you'd never grow old. Hook, I love you. But it's so important that you learn to put certain things where they belong. Very important. Not to say you can't be funny or be boisterous or have joy or have experiences that are wonderful to your life, but learning to put them in the right place. My father had a sign posted to my door, place for everything and everything in its place, just to remind us, you have stuff that belongs in a certain space. And if you cannot identify your stuff and you cannot identify your space, you will always have a mess. And some of us are a mess, not because we don't have, we just don't know what we have. We haven't identified it. We haven't identified strengths, weaknesses, and understandings that we even have about ourselves. When was the last time you had a conversation, inventory maybe, of what you have? I remember my brother, I'm speaking on him even more. He was a manager even at Radio Shack. Yes, they did exist, okay? Radio Shack, I said it. And he would spend hours as an assistant manager, sometimes on inventory nights. Why? They would literally check boxes and make lists over every nut, bolt, and wire and things that would, even the smallest trinkets that were inside of their store, because they knew what to sell when they knew what they had, and or they knew what to ask for out of the warehouse because of what they were short on. I think this is really a space that, as we go back in time, it's a place of, when was the last time you took inventory of yourself and said, what do I need? What do I have? What can I look forward to? And be not afraid to ask. I think this is very important. I don't see enough of this, so maybe I'll help you out. Ask. I'm a very biblical kind of foundational person. If you find me on other places, you'll know that the Bible will say, ask, seek, knock. There's some things that we need to do that require our request. Some things won't happen until you literally just open your mouth and ask. And the answer may not come the day of or the hour of, even to yourself, but it gives you the strength to know that it's on the way. You're giving yourself a space and a foundation to bloom further than where you are. And I think that's something to be celebrated. So if I go back to Texas State and I remember that day, what am I about to be? Well, this is what I know. I know I'm a problem solver. I know I am strategy oriented. I like to make solutions, find them, be abstract. If you haven't thought about it, I'm going to try to help think about it. I coined a phrase, and I'm coining it right now. I don't like just brainstorming. I like brain farming. I like pulling things and ideas out of people's brains that they already thought about, but they didn't realize they thought it. But I heard you. I listened to you. I want to say and validate your thought and your understanding. That's a good one. Let's use it. No thought is too too little, too less, too insignificant to be used and cultivated. Because sometimes the right seed just needs the right amount of fertilizer around it. And some things haven't grown because you haven't cultivated and put together other ingredients, and other ingredients that you thought were stinky, smelly, and undesirable, but that was exactly what you needed to grow. So I think this is a growing moment for all of us, and I'm excited. Thanks for hanging with us. I'll see you soon.